This podcast is a member of the Red 5 Network. For more Red 5 Network podcasts and content creators, visit bio.link/red5.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Yo. It seems like it's been a long time since we went live.
Yeah. What was the last show we talked about? Was it?
I don't know if it was live, but it's been a while.
What did we talk about last live? What was the last show we talked about live?
Skeleton Crew.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So it's been a minute.
Yeah.
How you doing, sir?
We have some good stuff to talk about this time, though.
We really do. And, I've always said, I don't know what your thoughts are on my comments lately regarding, it seems like Star Wars animation has been a bit more consistent and consistently good than live action Star Wars. What are your thoughts on that?
You still feel that way?
I mean, so far, I think so. But are we going to be getting Ahsoka season 2 this fall? I think.
I thought so. Yeah.
So that might change, but so far, yes. And I know, we were big proponents and fans of Andor, but I think that was an exception to the rule. We'll see, but every time they announce an animated show, I'm probably more confident in its quality than if they announced a live action. So there's that.
Yeah. That was weird. My computer wanted to kick me off.
Oh no, an update again.
No, those days are gone, sir.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Yeah. What was that?
How's your weekend going?
Going good. Did a nice, easy story today. Nothing too major. A little neighborhood camaraderie type story where everybody got together and yelled out "Kumbaya" and that sort of thing. So, not bad.
Did you get to cover any more sports? Any more?
The White Sox opening day, and I was just looking forward to. I was just looking forward to lunch. Excellent. So yeah, everybody, welcome to the Scare Scuttlebutt podcast live edition here on Saturday nights. We are back, my buddy and I. My buddy. Yeah, absolutely.
Looking forward to May.
What's going on in May? I think isn't there a Star Wars movie coming out?
We're going to do a damn thing. We are going to do a damn thing.
Yeah. And we are going to do a damn thing. We're
get the whole Red 5. You got to get the whole squadron there.
We'll get some people in here. That will be a lot of fun. You're coming to Chicago.
That's right.
To watch a movie with me.
It's been official because I bought plane tickets and requested the time off. So we're gonna. I'm gonna need you to buy the movie tickets because I don't know where the movie theater is.
Yeah, for sure. I got you covered. And let me.
Can we be like press? Can we be pressed? Can we get in that way?
We sure can. Yeah, for sure. But we'll do something, and you got to text me what your snack and your libation preference is. I'll cover you there too.
Popcorn and cherry Coke. Are we talking about the movie or outside the movie?
No, the movie for sure. Yeah. Cherry Coke, yeah, that's my poison, man.
And Milk Duds.
Milk Duds, yeah.
Maybe in the popcorn.
I had a girlfriend that put Raisinets in the popcorn.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, some of my Milk Dud. Yeah, I always put the Milk Duds in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's say hello to the chat. Who's in the chat?
We got a few people.
We got a few people in the chat. Thank you very much for joining us this Saturday. Like I said, we are back talking Star Wars, and there's some Star Wars to talk about. Who do we got? Charles Westcott from they have not done an episode so long that I forgot their names.
Conversations
Podcast.
Well, I
Another
got to hang out with Charles last night. We were
Did you?
Yeah, we were grown kids last night playing some D&D.
Oh, but not in person.
No, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We still got to hang out. I got to talk to them as we do when we play D&D.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, Conversations. Dale is in the chat as well. Haven't seen him in a while. Well, we haven't been here in a while, but good to see everybody. Veda Rapina. There's no wrestling, so I know that when there's no wrestling, he'll come on over and hang.
Get in the chat. They were waiting for us to come on. They've been hanging out here.
Yes. And KS Geekman, thank you very much for coming on by and hanging out with us. You guys, I mean, we're going to be talking about the Darth Maul show, and we were very excited, obviously, when the trailers and all that drops, because I feel like Sam Witwer has definitely has a very unique connection to the character, and it's something that I know a lot of fans kind of debate whether the actor or actress who portrays the role has a real understanding of that role and that character. And I know when Mark Hamill was all about him stating that he disagreed with what was that director guy's name? Can't remember the eighth movie. Yeah, one of those guys. But people started to complain that it wasn't Mark's job to kind of point that out, his interpretation of the character, which I feel like that was kind of disingenuous at best, because I feel like these actors really absorb as much as they can to be able to play and understand a character, that it's very dismissive to say that Mark Hamill didn't understand the character.
Yeah, you could argue. I mean, if you look at, Darth Maul. And I was just thinking about this. While Darth Maul was a badass in episode 1, he was on screen for what total? Less than 10 minutes. I think,
yeah, like 7 minutes 34 seconds.
So arguably, this Sam Witwer has much more stake to the character than what Ray Park even has. Somebody might shit on me for saying that, but like, he only had so much there, and there was only so much source material in episode 1 to work with. I mean, he was just a weapon. That was it in episode 1.
Right.
So this character really is Sam's completely.
Yeah, absolutely. And we you and I talked about Darth Maul in our previous episode. If you guys are interested in listening to us yap about Darth Maul as a character from the beginning, I think that's episode 240 something. But yeah, absolutely, look for it wherever you download your other podcasts. It was a really great discussion. Yeah, absolutely. I think we kind of have to step back and realize that these characters don't take on these, or I would say the actors don't take on these characters in a vacuum. They, to some degree, they have to understand who they are portraying, whether it's Luke Skywalker or Darth Maul. I think we do kind of have to give the actors some credit in order for them to at least give an opinion as to not only the meaning of motivation of these characters, but what they represent as a whole, especially someone like Mark Hamill, who has been playing and portraying Luke Skywalker forever. And Sam Witwer, I mean, he has been doing interviews, and there's always a little tidbit of really cool information in a lot of the interviews that he gives, whether he's talking to magazines or at the conventions, other people's podcasts. And it's really great to hear, because you can really sense the passion that he has, the ownership that he has for Darth Maul, and obviously working at Lucasfilm and being able to kind of contribute and collaborate with Dave Filoni during those sessions, especially during Rebels, really has given him unique insight.
I mean, he really is like a one-man promotional campaign for this stuff. And do you think at this point is it time to give Sam a promotion at Lucasfilm?
That could be argued. I mean, yeah.
I mean, he's only going to get so many Maul stories now at this point. I mean, depending on how this season goes and how it ends, and we know he's still alive at the end of the season.
Yeah, obviously.
But I mean, he's got that character. But as far as his understanding and like you said, passion for Star Wars, I think it might be time that, just like with him, Filoni, Favreau, them working together. I think it might be high time for him to step up a little bit and put some of that talent and passion to good use
and knowledge. Really, I want to say a heartfelt thank you to Revan Starkiller 0608. It's nice to be loved.
You guys missed us.
And
yes, for the next few weeks for sure.
Yeah, and Starkiller. Yeah, we were just tongue in cheek. We know it was Rian Johnson of The Last Jedi fame, but again, just a little tongue in cheek. Nicole is in the chat. Thank you, Nicole, for coming on by, and she says a heartfelt hello as well.
Nicole, thank you for saying hi to me as well. I appreciate.
There you go. Nicole is someone that hopefully we will see when you come to Chicago. We'll hang out, have some pizza, some cherry Coke, some beer, whatever you want. We'll find it.
All the things.
All the things. Excellent.
You better not be working that whole time. I better not be.
You know what?
I have to do everything while I'm in Chicago. So
my management doesn't watch the channel. I'm just going to call them sick.
Tell them that you are sick. We got shit to do. So
yeah, absolutely. So Nicole, Brad is coming in May. We're going to go watch. I think there's a Star Wars movie coming out in May on the big screen. So we'll hang out. We got to get who else we got to get? We got to get Todd, Big T and Little T, some of the other WSTR Galactic Public Access folks. They are local, and whoever wants to head on down to Chicago, it's just maybe Rob, formerly of Jedi Temple Archives, but yeah, absolutely. There's a whole bunch of people here in Chicago, and I know in 2019 when everybody was here to celebrate Star Wars as Star Wars Celebration came to Chicago, everybody was here, and I didn't even know it. Pat and Charles were here, walking around town, trying to look for Portillo's. But everybody was here in Chicago, and it was fun to learn that a lot of folks that we got to know after we started the podcast were already here, and looking forward to hopefully getting together with folks then again. So that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Darth Beard made a good comment in the chat. A good parallel with Doug Chang.
Oh yeah.
I mean, his rise there is fitting. Again, talent, knowledge, passion, same thing for Doug, and how much, I mean, you're looking at his work nonstop, whether you realize it or not. So, he deserved to have more and more responsibility.
I think so too. And it's just because he's got so much knowledge too. I mean, he could be story editor, he could be, creative consultant, especially. And I wonder too, we'll get into it because we're going to start talking about the Darth Maul series here, the animated show. I wonder too if there are elements of what fans wanted to see in a Solo 2 where they're pulling, maybe some story arcs or story elements from whatever that might have been into this show, because we're dealing with the underworld, we're dealing with crime organizations and Darth Maul's his activities during that period. But I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of it, and I guess if you want, we can definitely start talking about it.
What do you know, or maybe somebody in the chat, what's the source material for people saying that this is George Lucas's vision for sequel. Where is that coming from? Because he's the one that split Maul in half to begin with, and yeah, he brought him back on Clone Wars. But what's the source material for that?
Well, supposedly there was a story arc that involved Darth Maul being the bad villain in George Lucas's sequel trilogy. And he had an apprentice, and it was Darth Talon, you know, the lovely young lady who was all in red. And there seems
George on record for saying this, or what?
I think so. And somebody in the chat can maybe fact check me, but I feel like there is some documentation somewhere where some of the notes that George Lucas gave to Disney as far as the sequel trilogy involved some of this. And it might have been, you know, a lost script or a lost treatment or a discarded treatment. Yeah, I think Darth Beard has it. The script given to Disney when he sold Lucasfilm, and I don't think they were actual completed scripts. They were, you know, notes and story treatments. But I think that's the bulk of it. That's where it comes from.
I think, so now that we're just talking about this briefly before we get into the show, you think Maul, on the trajectory he was on, would have been a strong enough villain to carry a trilogy?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, you know, when we see Maul after episode 1, you know, he appears in the 2 episodes of was it Clone Wars or Rebels? I think it was Clone Wars. Brother, and I forgot the second episode. But there was an opportunity, I think, to really explore his character if he were on that trajectory to become a heavy in the sequel trilogy. If George wanted to, I think, you know, there was an opportunity there to kind of play around with rage and anger and all those, you know, the pillars of the dark side that we talked about, because he probably had even more grounded, dark revenge and darkness in his heart for the dark side to grow in him, probably even more so than Anakin, I feel, because, you know, he was, I think, every portrayal, and we see it in the new show, but we definitely saw it in Rebels, where his heart was just cold. His heart was just hell-bent on getting revenge on Obi-Wan Kenobi and finding him and making him suffer, you know, all that stuff. So I feel like, you know, that could have been a good way to kind of bring him in and continue his, you know, his rage-filled, you know, psychosis. It would have been interesting either way.
I think it might have actually had like an Old Republic feel to it, because, you know, the old Sith, that they were just straight anger and rage.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it would have had that kind of feel to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, George, you know, if George was still kind of involved, I think he would have been a great, it would have been a great way to kind of bring in that aspect of, I don't know, teaching about rage, you know, showing how that kind of, you know, rots you to the core. And I think that would have been you know, a really good, you know, morality play in Star Wars. Would have been interesting to see who the antagonist would have been during that, if it was still Luke Skywalker. But that would have been interesting. So again, in the chat, if you guys can kind of help us out here, we'd love to get your takes on stuff as we kind of start discussing the series. 2 episodes in, they air on Mondays, and the first episode is called The Dark Revenge. The second episode is called Sinister Schemes. But give me, in broad strokes, pun intended because of the art style here, but what are your thoughts just initially about how this series is starting out?
I like it. I really do. I think it's, I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit, I mean, we know where the bar is. You know, I go into everything cautiously optimistic. Even the animation these days, but with the big talk from Sam Witwer ahead of time, and with the trailers only showing so much. But I like the story. I mean, it's number one, it's beautiful. Music is fantastic. Animation is great. I love the storyline so far. I love that there's a good combination of existing and new characters. And I love that a lot of stuff we saw in the trailers we've already seen, which means we have no idea where the rest of the show is going from here.
Right.
But I think pacing is good. I think it was easy to follow. And so far I'm pleasantly surprised. I mean, I had a pretty good faith that it was going to be decent, but I think it's right on par where I hoped it would be.
Yeah. One of the things that really struck me, and I really didn't notice it even in the trailers when they were released, but the art style is very different than the Star Wars animation, that came before it. To me, I love behind the scenes stuff. And a lot of times when the ending credits of The Mandalorian had those previs shots, the artwork of The Mandalorian, that specific episode, all that stuff, like the Ralph McQuarrie art and the art that had to do with, storyboarding and creating these shots before, cameras roll. I love all that previs stuff. And I've always wanted to have a project that used that art style of previs to tell this story. And I think we got really close. I think I love the brush strokes. I love the depth, the texture of the images. I mean, these wide shots of the first, I forgot what planet they're on. At first, I thought, obviously, during the trailer, I thought it was Coruscant, but
I think it's Coruscant.
Is it? All right. So, those wide shots are beautiful. The detail of the buildings, the texture, the shading is incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then, you've got like little areas of smoke from time to time. And I think that is really, really great. As Vader says here, impressive, most impressive.
Yeah. And once again, this is a project that's kids will enjoy, the younger crowd will enjoy how it looks. But us older folks can enjoy that. Plus the deeper storyline that we have going on here too. I wasn't sure, what is he, a detective, I guess. I wasn't sure, looking at the trailers, what kind of character he was going to be. Right. But so far, I like the way they've presented him as well. He's, how he doesn't want to get the Empire involved. But he's got family issues at home. And that, to me, that didn't seem forced at all. I thought it fit into the story pretty well.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you about that. Let's get a little bit into the story. I saw that somebody had posted an opinion about the story regarding, they said that this is kind of the crime story that the Boba Fett show, Book of Boba Fett, should have been. I think I completely agree. I think, Boba Fett, I've always said it was kind of like a bait and switch. We thought we were going to get something else, and all of a sudden it was kind of whatever. Yeah, right. Yeah, what are your thoughts on the story? I think, obviously we are 2 episodes in. We don't know exactly what's going on, but there's a point in a lot of these shows, obviously, because, we kind of know, especially with this character, we know where he ends up, we know where he's going and stuff like that. And, but I feel like, there's this little area in this era that is worth kind of exploring. And I think we're about to do that. Yeah.
I think it's a good progression from where the Clone Wars ended and the spot where he was at there. As far as his character goes, does this seem like Maul to you? Like he's very, on this one, introspective, I guess, a lot. And
who did he remind you of? He reminded me of another Rebels bad guy.
Was he like Thronish?
Yeah, he kind of reminded me a little bit of Thrawn. He
Yeah.
was a little. It was like you said. He was a little more intro.
Yeah, because that's probably a good analogy because he really was pretty much a checkers player before because that's all Sidious needed him for. And I think he realized he was the pawn in that one, and I think he's trying to think bigger picture. Right. And I think he's trying to play a little more chess. So I think that's a pretty good analogy there.
Yeah. Revan's got a point here. I like the quiet tension between the local authorities and the Empire, which we haven't countered yet. It was a good move. What are your thoughts on the fact that Lawson, the local cop, doesn't want to bring the Empire in? I think I saw somebody that said on Twitter that they feel like the Empire might have been responsible for why he is a single father, whether it was a tragedy in the family or maybe, she was enlisted and is no longer a part of the family. I don't know.
They haven't said at all where she is. They just said, hey, we're going to go visit her at some point. So I think that's a bit of a stretch, but you kind of get this theme a little bit in Andor,
right?
I think that was more season 1, I think, than season 2. But where the sergeant was there, and they're like, no, we can do this,
handle it ourselves, right?
Yeah, and then ISB comes in. It's a very realistic storyline. It's based in reality a lot. You have the whole local government, state government versus the federal government, and how nobody wants the federal government in their backyard because they know themselves better than what the federal government does. It's based in reality, and I think they do it pretty well. I don't think that those decisions every time, because he's mentioned it 2 or 3 times now, I don't think those decisions are going to turn out well for him in the end.
Yeah. I think so too. I think, and one of the things that it fascinates me too, when we were kids and we saw the Empire, you thought that the Empire was everywhere. They ruled the galaxy, stormtroopers everywhere. But, obviously with Andor, we see a little bit of what you meant. With this, we see the same thing. And it seems like, the galaxy is obviously ruled by the Empire. The Empire has that total power, but they're not everywhere. I think they are relying on the local governments to kind of keep their systems in check. If there's trouble, then the Empire, walks in and does its thing with an iron, fist, so to speak. But I feel like they're setting this up. They're actually cementing the fact that and the Empire obviously is also working with criminal underground, as we know, to be able to kind of keep the galaxy at bay, if you will, to a certain degree. And obviously you and I, the way we met was through JFK discussions and things like that, and how the CIA and the mafia were working together, and the mobs and all that stuff. So it kind of lends itself to that as well, from a real world perspective. But I think that's intriguing. I think I'm looking forward to seeing more of that, hands-on, hands-off imperial tactics when it comes to local governments.
Well, it's a waiting game more than anything else for the Empire. They are waiting for the local guys, whether the local police or the local government. They're waiting on any excuse, like they're going to screw up, and the Empire never lets a good tragedy go to waste. As soon as he starts screwing up and this gets out of control, that's when the Empire is like, oh, well, you can't do it, on your own, so we're gonna do it for you. And so it's a waiting game, and they just wait for a good excuse to go in there and take control of an area or a whole planet.
Yeah. I don't think that I was ready to see Jedi that were hiding in this series for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah. That master pissed me off, man. Like, I don't know his name yet. Have they said his name? It might be credited, but
yeah,
I get it. And I think it was a very good portrayal of Jedi in hiding. I think it's maybe more realistic than some of the previous where they still want to be, heroes.
Right.
He's like, keep your head down, don't say anything, and
that's a good point. That's a good point because obviously the Empire is at its height. They've heard of Inquisitors and Palpatine's right hand man, who turns out to be Vader. I think I would have been the same way. I think it's
but again, this is going to play right in the Maul's. The Jedi are great at screwing up. It's going to play right into Maul's hands because Maul's going to treat her one way, and he basically left her on her own to get arrested and to deal with it from there to try to stay out of trouble and stay off the radar. So that's going to play right into Maul's hands.
Yeah. And it seems like that character is going to end up being Darth Maul's apprentice, or at least an apprentice wannabe, or he's it seems like the first episode he seems like he's looking for somebody, or that he knows that somebody is there. And I'm not sure if initially he means the apprentice of this hiding Jedi, or if it's anybody else.
Yeah, if you look at it, it's really great. I think the way they did it, because he's kind of using the Force to hone in on her.
Right.
And so at first he has like a big picture that something's out there, and you can see him just meditating on it. And as they get closer and closer to it, like his radar gets more attuned to her until you can say it was a coincidence, but it really wasn't. It was the work of the Force, where he's in the prison or in the jail cell, the detention block, with the gangster, and she's right behind him.
Right.
So he used the Force to really narrow it down and get a clearer, better picture of who and where she was, and I think that was really, really well done.
Yeah, absolutely. Shattered Knight, thanks for coming by. We keep bumping into each other at C2E2, but yes, Phil, we did talk about that earlier regarding the Lucas cut scenes for the sequels. Absolutely. So I don't know what else. I mean, are there any standout characters? I did want to ask you, coming into an animated show versus a live action, and I think the last live action that we really were excited about, obviously, was Andor when it came out. Going into animated shows, I know sometimes there still has to be characters that are slightly off kilter, silly, if you will. Did that bother you to have some of these criminal underground characters kind of
no, they're little gangsters. I mean, I love the Goodfellas or Godfather scenes that, I mean, it looked like they were literally eating chicken parm. And it's you're putting gangs are a very adult thing, and they're a very dark thing, but so you got to frame that
right
a little bit towards the kids, so you can't make it a full Goodfellas type
sure.
deal. I tell you, as far as quirky goes, that little spy droid, whenever they make a toy of him, like, I thought he was a little asshole, and I was here for it. Like, the whole time he was just like peekaboo, and just like offing people. Right. I thought that was a great little droid, and I like how he could be kind of modified and stuff. I was going to ask you, comparing live action with animated. I'm not sure if you finished your season 3 rewatch of Mandalorian.
Halfway.
But I was going to ask you, halfway? Okay. Your thoughts on the depiction of Mandalorians in The Mandalorian versus what we see here with the Maul show. Who do you think strikes more true as Mandalorians that we used to know?
Honestly, yeah, I think the animated shows, I think, portray Mandalorians a little better. I almost feel like they rewrote the character of the society of the Mandalorians to kind of fit what what Din Djarin was going to be on the small screen for Disney Plus. I feel like we got to know them obviously during Clone Wars, a little bit through the Rebels series, and I feel like, and obviously I guess there are different sects of Mandalorians, and the I'm not going to take my mask off sect is Din Djarin's excuse to be.
The different sects is just that's a recent thing though. I mean, it used to be
Right.
Mandalorian equals Spartan. I mean, these guys were the Spartans of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah. And and whether Din Djarin, I mean, somebody had mentioned the Children of the Watch, or another, subsect of the Mandalorian, culture regarding the no mask, don't take my mask off. And I think it was one of those things that they might have just created that because the actor was not going to be in the show as much as they thought he would be, and that was a kind of a convenient way just to kind of have anybody in the mask. So I
hope not.
Yeah,
they created that would suck if they created that whole thing just because of that.
Darth Beard has an interesting thought here, rewinding a little bit on your comments regarding Darth Maul honing in on the Jedi. He says, I don't think the Jedi is going to be the one he's looking for. The one Maul has some sort of vision about is going to be a surprise to us in 3 weeks' time. That's interesting too, because there were also, I don't think this is it, but there were also some spoilery posters that came out before the first episode aired. And one of my favorite characters was on that poster, and I'm wondering if we will. And I texted you earlier too. Not today, a couple of weeks ago. I texted you that we might get to see a showdown between the two Darths at this point. So who knows? But that'll be interesting to see who it is that he's honing in, if it's not this Jedi in hiding.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I don't know, like 3 weeks time, like it would have to be somebody along the lines of Vader, because we have 10 episodes total to work with, and you're talking about halfway through the season. I think she is the target of his apprenticeship, or one being an apprentice.
Especially if they're going to kind of use the template of George Lucas's sequel trilogy, where Maul and Talon are a thing, and if they're going to model this character off of Darth Talon, then that would make sense. Obviously, she's the same species as Talon.
So interesting thing as far as that comment from Darth Beard. Almost finished with the Vader book, Master of Evil. And what's interesting about that book, spoiler alert, if you haven't read it and you plan on reading it, earmuffs, something they haven't really suggested until now. More people out there than you thought, which was zero, put it together that Anakin is Vader. So it might be something along those lines as far as that showdown with Vader. Because I don't think we've broached that subject yet about him knowing who Vader is.
Yeah, and I almost feel when you said that, I almost feel like Darth Maul obviously was looking.
He had the connection with little. He had the connection with little Anakin on Tatooine from episode 1, and so they've had a connection sort of the entire time.
Yeah,
so the whole Vader thing does make sense.
Yeah, it actually does. Looking for Obi-Wan or looking for Anakin, and if the rumor is true in universe, then he realizes he might have put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah,
that'd be fascinating to find out. Yeah. Revan Starkiller, yes. Ubaldo is one of our book ambassadors over at the Red 5 Book Club. So if you are interested in reading some awesome books, Nicole, who was here a couple of chats ago, is our illustrious leader in the Red 5 Book Club. So check out the Red 5 Book Club and join the Discord. From time to time on Sunday nights, they discuss the books that they're reading. And Ubaldo, correct me if I'm wrong. You guys are still reading the Master of Evil, or did you guys finish that? I can't remember. But always great fun. Always some good stories there. But
is there anything you don't like so far, or any potential red flags you see going forward?
I want to say none whatsoever. And I think some of the characters, like you said, I mean, we know that Star Wars does droids fairly well. You latched on to that little probe droid character. The Two Boots, which is Lawson's cop partner, he was pretty cool. I don't know. Everything about this show is pretty decent. From the technical aspect, you mentioned the audio, the music, just the texture and the artwork. It's been fantastic. Looking forward to Monday nights to see what else they have, and especially now that we're kind of teasing out some thoughts here regarding who Maul might actually be searching for. So
you want to throw up that comment from Darth Beard, and I'd like you to answer that one.
Do we think we are getting Vader? He's the pop-in bad guy trope now. He popped in Rebels, Rogue One, and sort of Ahsoka. Yeah, James Earl Jones had given his voice to science and Star Wars and Lucasfilm. So if there's an opportunity to bring Vader in small doses, I think they're going to do it. And if they're going to do it, they could make sense of bringing him in here because he is around, so it'll be interesting to see. And
I know is Vader overused as the
not yet. And again, Darth Vader is my favorite character of any literature. As you can see in my background, he watches what I do, but I don't think he's being overused yet. And I'll let you know. I'll definitely let you know if I feel that way. So
I mean, so we have to go back to Sam Witwer's comments. Maul's a bad guy. This show is about there's worse people out there than
bad
Maul.
guys.
So
yeah.
How many? Who's that going to be in the Star Wars universe?
Right. And who is it going to be that we care about? If they introduce someone new, like another Inquisitor, which we'll see other Inquisitors in the show. We've already seen some clips, but they're not. They don't hold our attention as much as Darth Vader. And getting to Revan's comment here, James Earl Jones, before he passed away, signed a contract. His family and his state signed a contract where he went into Lucasfilm and recorded his voice, and it is used in, I forgot what the system was, is partial AI and partial archiving of James Earl Jones's voice in order for Lucasfilm to be able to recreate Darth Vader's lines if Darth Vader appears in any new projects, so it'll sound like him instead of recasting. So James Earl Jones had done that, and like I said, wherever Darth Vader kind of fits in, it'll always sound like James Earl Jones because of what he was able to do. So
I'm wondering if they have to, because I was a little bummed because of the book, the Audible was not James Earl Jones's voice. It wasn't bad, but knowing that, I wonder if they have to pay some sort of royalty, so they're going to be kind of like picky about how much they use that, because it would have been really nice to hear his voice in the Master of Evil book.
Yeah, and I think that I want to know. I want to say that book was done previous to the arrangement that James Earl Jones did, and I know it takes a while for all that stuff to be produced.
That might be.
Yeah, because it's like right on the cusp of the edge of it being done. And no, I mean, Lucasfilm at this point owns James Earl Jones's voice, so it wouldn't be an issue of royalties and rights. The James Earl Jones estate got a nice big fat check for allowing Lucasfilm to just, teach the voice AI. And again, I can't remember what the name of that system process was, but yeah. Nicole is back in the chat, and if you guys are interested in the reading club, ask her, reach out to Nicole, and she'll let you know.
What do you think about other Zabrak being used in this show?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. I think you got to have henchmen, I think he has a connection, obviously, to that homeworld, and I don't know. I'm wondering too if we're going to see any Night Sisters pop up during this because of of their history with him and the other Zabrak.
Right. There's only so many left of both of them, so
sure, yeah. D-Man465 says, besides Resistance, Star Wars has never done a bad animated show, even going back to the OG.
Don't say that. Ro likes it.
Look, Resistance was what it was for the age of that,
No. He's a shill.
I watched it with my son. I enjoyed it for what it was.
He's trying to make me feel bad by saying you watched it with his son, but it's a bad show. It looked bad. It was set in the sequel trilogy time.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah. But yeah. BM Fen has an interesting question, and I'm going to have you answer that one. Children of the Watch are the Hasidic or Amish of the Mandalorians? I don't know. That's a good one.
I'd love to answer that. We do not have time on this broadcast. Now,
that's funny.
We'll do a special show just on that.
Nicole, yes, your chats are coming through, and I know you're here hanging out with us. Thank you so much. Let's see. Oh, here, Darth Beard. Night Sisters are all dead. Are they not by this point?
Nope.
No, they're not. I didn't think so.
I mean, they're mostly all dead. They're mostly dead. But they do show up in things like Jedi Survivor and stuff like that. So they're like Jedi at this point. They're 1 in a million, maybe, but they still slightly exist.
Yeah. Any breakout characters? Any new characters that you liked in either of the episodes?
Just the spy droid. No, I thought Lawson was, like you said, was a really cool character. He has a lot more depth than what I thought he was going to have. I thought he was just going to be a plot piece.
Sure,
but he's got a compelling story, and it makes sense. And I like how he's doing investigative work. I like seeing that process. And the Mandalorian Kreese, I forgot her full name, but Maul's number 2 there. She's a cool character.
They seem like no nonsense thugs. You know what I mean? They're to the point. They know what they're doing, and I think that's one of the reasons.
Oh my goodness, the technology that they used for that heist.
Yeah,
where they shot the ropes across and everything.
Right. Yeah,
that was no joke.
Yeah, very well thought out. And like I said, they're no nonsense. They know what they're doing. And if anything bothers me with characters is the motivation. It has to make sense. And I think these guys really, we know what their motivation is, and they carry it out not only efficiently but competently. Not like goofy bad guys. Even for an animated show.
Yeah, I mean, and Maul has a very there's a concept called dark charisma, and that's what Maul has, and that's how he kind of keeps them in line and keeps them following him, and I think it works out really well.
Yeah. And I think it was interesting too that they introduced the fact that he is a single father. I know he had a picture of his family in his office on his desk. We see, we meet his son when he goes home to take a break. It's one of those things that I hope that they don't drop that story arc the way that they did Andor's sister in the Andor series. And I know, that was basically to teach us that sometimes, loss is part of life, and et cetera, et cetera. You can work as hard as you can to try to look and find somebody. At the end of the day, sometimes you don't get that lucky. But with this show, I really hope that they're trying to, have a reason for a lot of the plot points. And I know a season 2 has already been greenlit, but I have a feeling it was just one complete season. They split it up into 10 episode, seasons, I guess.
It's good to hear, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, again, there's nothing really that puts up a red flag for me. I'm really enjoying the first 2 episodes. I do feel like Maul was a little muted in the first 2 episodes. There was a lot of action, a lot of things going on, a lot of new characters that were introduced. The cops, the droids, the crime lords. You've got this battle between the 2 crime lords, which is interesting to me, and I think Maul is trying to manipulate it in some way for whatever purposes. So I'm looking forward to seeing where they come in. A lot of crime lords were mentioned, a lot of crime families were mentioned there. So that should be a lot of fun.
When you say muted, you just mean he wasn't completely the focus? Because
a little bit
fight scenes in there.
Yeah, he did have some fun, and I think they're almost treating him like, when people say that too much Darth Vader is a little too much, and I feel like and somebody posted it online too. They said that Darth Maul doesn't appear a lot in a show called Darth Maul for the most part, but I think. Obviously, I think he is the driving force of it all, but he's being a little bit more cautious. And like I said, I think I'm looking forward to seeing what he has up his sleeve because, as you guys in the chat mentioned, I think it's going to be a nice surprise.
Yeah, we've talked about this before on the show, probably a while ago now, but just because the show is focused on a certain character,
right? Yeah,
it can't. The lens can't be on that. You don't learn anything about that character from the lens being on that character. You have to see that character from other people's perspectives. Right. That's how you learn. That's how you get more introspection on that character. How does Lawson see them? How do the crime lords see them? How do the Mandalorians and the Empire see them? That's how you get a deeper understanding of the character, not just watching him the entire time.
Right. So yeah, it'll be interesting. And I know Spencer Dingus Den and I did a complete review of the older Darth Maul miniseries. I think it was a 4-part miniseries where Maul was doing some cool stuff with Mandalorians, very similar to this. Check it out. It's also on our YouTube page. It's a comic review, the Darth Maul comic review with Spencer. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I think the relationship between Maul and the Mandos that are teamed up with him. I just want to find out more. I want to find out who he's looking for. Really, there's a lot of little tidbits here that are nice little nuggets as to what to expect, and they're not giving away a lot in these 2 episodes, and I'm glad they dropped 2 episodes at once. But yeah, I'm looking forward to more of it.
Yeah, this was a great start, because you worry with 10 episodes, they may have, in which we have some history of this, where they start off with episodes that are 4s or 5s, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
These were easily, in my opinion, between 6 and 8s. Probably easily 8s as far as quality.
Yeah.
So that's a really good start for the show, and I think it's indicative that we're going to have a good show ahead of us.
Yeah. Good point, Revan. Good point. ShadowLord. He's behind the scenes, but yeah, he definitely was behind the scenes. I think, when he first appeared, when the cops stopped the robbery and apprehended or tried to apprehend the Mandalorians, he came up behind them and started doing what he does. So very, behind the scenes. So it's nice. I get it. It'll be good.
Yeah, and they said there's going to be a lot of parallels between him and Palpatine. You have the Phantom Menace for Episode 1. You have ShadowLord here.
Yeah.
He's trying to do the same thing, but from a underworld perspective.
Yeah. And I think, you and I have discussed this before. I really like the aspect of the underworld in the Star Wars universe. I think it's intriguing. I think, again, the Book of Boba Fett tried to do it with varying degrees of not much success from my perspective, but just looking forward to this one because I think we'll have some really interesting takes on the underworld and how the Empire fits in. Obviously, we have not yet seen any indications of Imperial entanglements, if you will, to use that term, but really looking forward to and happy to be back on YouTube with you, sir, talking about Star Wars. It'll be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I'm just going to give you my one hot take. I can't stand the design of the Pikes. I think that is a stupid design for them, and
yeah,
you can't do anything. They're already there. They're already out there. You can't change it now, but you can stop using them. I can't stand the Pikes. I think it's dumb.
I'm gonna send you a Pike Black Series action figure. Then you'll like it.
No. I probably already have, to tell you the truth, but it still doesn't change the fact I don't like it.
Sounds good. All right. Any other final thoughts? Talking about ShadowLord. Like you said, it's a good start. But I don't know. Any final thoughts?
Again, like you said, happy to be back on YouTube. Happy to be chatting with all our friends that we got in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for being for number one, spending your Saturday night with us, and two, for being interactive. That's why we do this, so we can have those schoolyard discussions like we've been doing for the last 40 plus years. You guys are not to sound cliche, but literally the reason why we do this. We love to hang out with you guys and just be the nerds that we are and talk about Star Wars.
Absolutely. And, interactivity is the name of the game. We love hearing your voicemails when you guys call. If you guys want to leave a voicemail and talk about this podcast or this show or topics, please give us a call over at the Scarif Scuttlebutt hotline, which is 773-234-8659, or send us an email. If long distance is too much, send us an email. Just record yourself saying stuff and send it on over to scarifscuttlebutt@gmail.com. And we will definitely check it out. Remember, we are part of the Red 5 Network. A couple of other Red 5 Network shows were in the chat. And thank you very much for hanging out with us. If you want more Red 5 Network, check out bio.link/Red5. And you'll be able to find some awesome people doing awesome content over there. But yeah, your final rating, how many scuttlebutts out of 5 would you give the first 2 episodes of ShadowLord?
4.
4 scuttlebutts out of 5. I will echo your sentiment, and it's like I said, it's a good start, and looking forward to Monday night. We will be back here. We were supposed to have a guest, John Solo, former podcaster. We got to get him back in front of the mic, but he was feeling a little ill today. Maybe I will extend the invitation to him next week. But we're going to have some folks, some friends on during the review of this series. We're going to have Cam Ray is going to stop by. We're going to have CJ Baker is going to stop by sometime. I'm trying to get as many Red Fivers to come out and hang out with us and talk about this series as well. But if you have seen it and you like it, or if you don't like it, send us an email or a voicemail at the number mentioned and the email mentioned. We'd love to hear about it. Right?
That's right. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's been we've really enjoyed being back on and have this discussion of Maul, ShadowLord. So you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Have a great week. Enjoy the episodes coming up, and we will see you next Saturday. Same bat time, same bat channel. And that's the Scuttlebutt.
And I forgot to load the outro, so we'll just say goodbye.
No, you got to sing the outro.
There you go. Yeah. And we're going to be dropping this audio as well on the feeds. If YouTube is not your thing, you want to listen to our chat on this show at a later time when you're traveling to and fro. But thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. Talk to you guys later.